Yeah, sure. So I figure, talk to Adam and change it, or I was thinking all the order in.
Yeah.
And then here, and then whatever, after we do that one. whoever-
Cause this will change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then after this, being after. I think that a lot of this is. That because it's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
If this is a lot for me. Yeah, so I think like after this, we probably can. Table.
Yeah.
Because this is like, discussion and then like
Yeah.
digest.
Because
And then
otherwise,
maybe, because this is so much from other movies.
yeah.
Because action, like.
Do you think that we should at least let everyone like, and because at least to like have the idea.
Yeah, I think that we. What
Maybe next
we
week.
expect and then have, for the next committee meeting, like what does that look like to them? Like, and then maybe bring to whatever there is, or.
Like what this means to the
Yeah.
EDEC.
Yeah, the action plans, I mean, we can still, I think we can still go over
Was
all
this
these.
from the council? Did you
Yes.
guys get this? Or,
I don't know what I talked to Dawn today because I think she's the chair usually goes over this and I said, well, I think we can go over all this next time. I mean, we might put it in my and pull the agenda.
yeah, I mean, really, I mean, it's.
Hi, how are you?
I think this part. Hey, my friend, how are you?
Good, I'm just gonna introduce myself.
I just-
Hi, I'm Jane, nice to meet you.
I met when I was in Purdue logging, and then I was like, let's have lunch, and then she's talking about all the. And then I was like, let me sponsor, and then I'm mailing a check, and then I looked at Brooks, and I was like, Sarah, I was like, what the heck?
Yes, for this, yes.
The resolution though, amending this, I mean, what else?
I think,
Can we get copies of that resolution, Donna?
Yeah, it's in the packet.
it's in the package. It's just
So
saying,
we're just, yeah, reading it and we're all.
yes, we're just saying like, hey, so this is really just like, here's what that looks like. We'll let him speak on it, but I think that this really is.
I guess I'm wondering though. So the survey,
Uh-huh.
this needs to be approved by the council, right? So we were kind of hoping to do this out like.
I think that, yes, it does need to be approved by the council, but I think that there's a lot of.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, they can, I mean, we can definitely, they would move to page 15 if you want to do that.
Just table.
I mean, we don't have to, if you want to.
You probably just need a ballot. Within the expectation.
And what they need to do, if there's something from them, and going through that.
Yeah.
We're like it. You know,
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, the time is, is this one? The time is 6:02. I'd like to call this meeting into order. Okay, first, we're gonna read the land acknowledgement. Thank you, Donna. We are gathered on the land of the Kalapuya Confederate Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Confederate Tribes of the Phillips Indians, and the Aw-Antinook, whose relationship with this land continues to this day. We offer gratitude for the land itself and for those who have lived on it for generations. We acknowledge that our city's history, like many others, is fundamentally tied to the first colonial developments in Oregon. Finally, we respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Indigenous citizens of Kaiser. With a genuine desire for collective healing and understanding, we offer this land acknowledgement to respectfully recognize the land and its Indigenous people. The acknowledgement recognizes the lasting progress that begins and continues with a growing understanding of harms and works to challenge the legacies of colonialism in order to move forward in the true spirit of community. Okay, so first on the agenda, do I need to call the order?
You already put that in.
All right, first on the agenda, we are gonna go through introductions. We have a lot of new faces here, which is really exciting. So if you could, just state your name, maybe how long you've lived in Kaiser, and how you're involved in Kaiser in some way, that would be great. Do you wanna add anything, Freda?
And maybe what you know about this committee so far and what you hope to, bring to this committee.
Great, cool. Do we want to start over here?
Yeah, sure. My name is Fausto Ramos. I lived in the Salem Kaiser area since I was born. I grew up in Salem Kaiser, went to Kaiser Elementary, middle school at Highland Elementary, and then high school and middle school, Walden Middle School and McKay High School. I don't know a lot about the committee. I'm excited to learn. What I hope to bring is an open mind and fresh ideas. And maybe just a different perspective, from a different, smaller community in Salem Kaiser.
Great.
My name is Guillermo Rodriguez. I go. This one. Guillermo Rodriguez. I've been in Kaiser for over 25 years and love Kaiser. I coached all the sports in this area, including at McNary High School. I coached soccer for about 3 years. Again, same as him. I plan to hopefully be a part of some ideas and some of my perspectives so that I can help our community be diverse.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarita Cross. I'm a Kaiser City Councilor. I'm also the City Council Liaison. I'm not a voting member, just a liaison. I've lived in Kaiser for the last 23 years, in Salem Kaiser for the last 30 years. I'm heavily involved in the community. I'm very passionate about serving children in the community. I'm the Vice President of Resource Development for the Y of Marion and Polk County. And I also was CASA for 5 years, so, and lots of others. So I am excited to see the perspectives that this group can offer.
Hi, I'm Jane Tidwell. I've been in Kaiser for about 20 years. I am new-ish also to the CDEC for just a few months. And Mr. Rodriguez over here said that he coached, and he coached me and my siblings when we were younger. So very fun to have you here.
Cool.
Yeah, this is really
All
cool.
grown up now.
I recently started to get involved in Kaiser politics, just going to different neighborhood associations, just trying to get involved as I can. I have a teenager, he's a freshman at McNary, so that keeps me pretty busy. So yeah, excited to be here with you all.
Good evening, I'm Robin Barney. I have been in the Kaiser area for about 23 years. I have served on quite a few different little committees, won't bore you with the list. I am interested in utilizing my skill set on this committee. Having been in 8 different industries in my life, I think I can bring something to the table and help. The other thing is I would love to bring unity to the different cultures and people in the city of Kaiser.
Good evening, my name is Raina Wilson. I've been leading Kaiser for the past 16 years. from Brazil, but have been here for quite a while. I'm a single mom, I'm raising my kids in Kaiser. I've been just for the past 1.5, 2 years, I'm part of the budget committee for the city of Kaiser. And since I am here, raising my kids here, I'm part of the budget committee, I'm joining this committee, and I think it's just learning more about what the city is about, what we have going on, just be more engaging, more participating, not only for me, but for others, but for the future, my case, for my kids. I think, what I said when I was nominated, and I think I will say it again, is I think what we're doing here is long-term projects that we're sort of trying to accomplish, just the betterment of the community. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah No. We're good? Okay. I have lived in Kaiser for 8 years here with my husband. And we are small business owners. Salem used to pull us in that direction. That's where we were located. And I just took a different street on my way here for the first time. Just to give you perspective, I'm a creature, same pattern. But it gave me a very unique perspective, where I was able to see Kaiser in a very different way, physically, metaphorically, everything. And immediately it brought ideas, it brought, the wheels started turning. So that's what I can bring to the table with that. Also as a small business owner, I now not having that small business life looks a lot different. Kaiser is our home. It's the place where we bought our first home. So there's obviously nostalgia there, but when it comes to community connection and using the things that I'm good at is using those ideas and fresh perspectives to make things work. So I appreciate the opportunity to have a seat at the table, and it only will motivate me to bring good things with good intentions. So thank you.
And my name is Chaplain Larry Porter, and I guess I'm the baby at the table because I've only been here for 3 years. But I moved from the Fairview Troutdale area, and I also coached for many years. I umpired for over 25 years. I retired from TriMet after 25 years. But I have been chaplain for 13 years, and I got out of retirement because I was bored. And I work at Salem Academy with kindergartners up to 6th graders. And I also am a teacher's assistant there as well. But I was asked to be a part of this committee because I wanted to know more about Kaiser. My grandkids got me to move here. When you have a beautiful granddaughter who FaceTimes you out of your nice home in Torres Bonoma Falls to get you out here, it's like, but I'm here, I want to know more about Kaiser, and I want to do more about what I can do to bring more perspective about my culture to Kaiser, and whatever I can do to help spread my knowledge about my experience in life too.
Great, fantastic. Again, thank you all for being here. I'm really excited to see the work that we can all do together. Okay, the next order of business, we are going to move to the election of chair and vice chair. So do we have we'll do vice chair first. Do we have any nominations for vice chair? You can elect yourself or somebody else. Do you want to give a little explanation maybe as to what the vice chair does?
So the vice chair will fill in for the chair the vice chair will fill in for the chair. And again, I am here to help and lead along the way. So it's not anything that you'll go into blind to. As Jane will say, she was not the chair and she was nominated the chair and we're just kind of going through the motion first, but I don't think she's probably ever picked up a gavel in the first meeting that she was here. I was just like, save the time. So if you don't go into blind, I will be right here for you. And the only way that you would even take over the meeting is if Jane wasn't, or the whoever the chair wasn't there. So it sounds a lot scarier than it is.
So if you feel like you will have good attendance and you feel like maybe you want to get that experience sort of leading a meeting, that would be a good option.
If nobody's gonna raise their hand, I will put myself in for vice chair. Sure.
Okay. Do we have to call for a second? Okay, do we have a second for Guillermo?
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll still.
Fausta, sorry, I apologize. So we have a second from Robin, and now we move it to a vote, correct? Oh, thank you. Any discussion about that?
I do have a question. Give me the time commitment on this. I want to, sorry. The way my brain works is I want to give it 100%. That's what I'm coming in to do. I can only do that logically if I have the time. Like, is there,
I think it depends on what you decide moving forward, what your list of objectives are. So if you said your list of objectives is to have a quilt, which is not going to happen in 2 weeks, in the parade, or to have, a table at Soggy Days, or an event,
so is it more of like the process of coming in here and covering the basis of information, the logistically speaking, that's what the role would be?
Or if you all decided, let's have homework, like can somebody research this, that we need a little bit more information on? That may put together, if you decided you needed a rap card to educate.
Someone to expedite it, get it done, do the follow through.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
And that could be broken apart with all of you, it doesn't have to be the vice chair.
sure. Oh, thank you for that. If I may, nominate myself?
Yeah.
Or I need to get the picture of it, so I know what I need to do with it.
Okay,
So, thank you for sharing that.
yes. Do we have a second for Sarah?
I'll second it.
Okay, great. So we have a second. So let's move to a vote.
We can say,
Okay. So, all in favor of Mr. Ramos for vice chair, please say aye.
I,
Aye. Okay, we have 2 ayes. All, opposed, say nay. Nay. Okay, so the nays have it. Sorry, you are also seeing me also learning how to do this, so we are all in this together. Okay, so,
So did you get?
sorry, I think I'm
1, 2, 3,
stumbling
4,
over
5,
that.
6, that's okay. So you would have 5, 6, 7 votes, I think you said 3 to 2, but you could ask for raise your hand.
Okay, yeah, we'll go for a raise of hands for Mr. Ramos for vice chair. And so we'll
Oh,
start.
so we're raising hand.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's great. And
Okay.
then 1, 2, 3, yeah, great, and then 4.
And then nays, raise your hand. There you are.
So, and now we need to go to this.
Okay, and so now, all those, in favor of voting Sarah for, vice chair, to say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Okay.
Okay, so the ayes have it, so we're gonna go ahead and elect, Sarah to vice chair. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate the transparency of the process, and she's literally helping me with the microphone. I promise we're gonna get this done. But no, I appreciate the process of it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a repeat on yes, it's organized?
Yes, you may. Would you like us to raise our hand? Would that be easier? Okay, so for, Ms. Snow, for vice chair, go ahead and raise your hands. Thank you. Okay, now we are gonna move on to vote for chair. So that would be what I am doing. So if you feel like you can do a little better job, or, you're interested in taking on a little bit more responsibility in the committee, and again, appoint yourself or others.
I nominate the gentleman, what's your first name?
Fausto.
Austin.
Okay, so we have one for Fausto. Do we have a second?
Yes, sir.
Second, okay, by Mr. Rodriguez. Do we have any other discussion? Any other nominations?
So you nominated your back, right?
I'll nominate myself. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, so we have a second. So we're gonna go ahead and put this to vote. So, please raise your hands in favor of Mr. Ramos for chair. Please say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
So we have 3 ayes. Okay. And then we do all opposed, say nay. Nay. Okay, so we have 4 nays. The nays have it.
I would saw 3, Robin, Elaine, Sarah, or knows. And Jake.
Okay, so now we go on me. So, please raise your hand and say aye for, me, Jane Kitchnell, to be, the chair.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, two votes, like, for one or the other. Oh, oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, those opposed say nay. Okay, I have it, so. Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. I am chair. Thank you for your patience. It will get better, I promise. Okay. So, fantastic. Next order of business is the approval of, minutes from April last month. Let's see. Do I have a motion to approve the April minutes? Yes, we need a first and a second.
Madam Chair, I go ahead and ask for approval from the minutes from last meeting.
I have a second. Okay, so we have a first and a second to approve the minutes from April. That's only because I know how to do well in this, so. Okay, next up is the appearance of interested persons, and I believe we have 2 folks here today to give comments. We have development, okay, sorry, going back to the minutes, so we had a first and a second, and now we need to vote. All those in favor of approving the April minutes, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Okay, minutes approved. Okay, so we have 1, vote abstain. Okay, next, now we are moving on to, community comment. All right, so we have 2 folks here today to give comment. Tammy Coons, come on up. And just feel free to state your name in the microphone, please.
Can you hear me okay? All right, so my name is Tammy, I'm president of Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association. And one of the things that we talked about at our board meeting was having you guys promote the neighborhood associations when you're out and about. I talked to Robin, Rhonda in Great Lake this morning, and she would like the same thing when you guys are out dealing with the community, if you can get a hold of our flyers and we'll make sure we get them to you, to just promote our neighborhood association meetings. That would be super helpful. And then if you can email us, Donna's fixing to hand you out our information for Greater Northeast Kaiser. If you can email me any information that we can use to update our newsletters and keep the community engaged with what's going on, that would be super helpful. And then something we're doing for the summer is story walks. We're gonna, host story walks in our park. It's gonna be English and Spanish, so if anybody can help translate during that process, as soon as we nail down the rest of the dates and get everything in order, I will reach out. But if you can help translate for the community, that would be fabulous.
Anybody have questions for Tammy?
I do.
Okay, Tammy, we have a couple questions for you.
Thank you. So we're talking about the story walks in the summer. Do you have, is it something you wanna, if I understood correct, is it something you wanna do bi-weekly, once a month? Do we know the parts?
Right now, it's gonna be one per month.
Okay,
And Claggett Creek Park and this park are the two that we have approval for so far.
okay.
Um,
And what's the other one?
Chompers, which is this one out here at City Hall. And then we're looking to do another one, we're looking at Northview Terrace, because that's in our area. And then Rhonda is gonna probably host one as well, with West Kaiser out at Kaiser Rapids.
Okay, a lot of times you're thinking about doing the story walk.
It'll be in the evening and probably on a weekend because that's when it's gonna meet the need of the community better. When we polled, they wanted a Saturday or a Sunday so that they could get out and do something different with family.
Okay, thank you.
Is the event on Facebook or anything?
Not yet,
Oh, yeah.
it will be,
Okay.
Is this the first time you guys are doing story walks?
yes.
Okay, have you guys used a translator before?
I have one of my moms that was translating, but she took an evening job to help make ends meet, so she's not available to do that anymore.
And is that just English, Spanish, or what's
Yeah,
the? Okay.
English and Spanish.
And do you have the dates for those yet, or have not been scheduled?
First date is tentatively set, but I don't wanna share that until it's a definite. And I'll make sure to get the information to Dawn so she can get it to everybody.
Okay, thank you.
This might be a jump of the gun, a little silly, but do you know what stories are gonna be told, like, so that we know how to,
Yes,
ask translators?
yes,
Okay,
I will get Dawn that information.
perfect.
Great question. Anything else? No? Okay, thanks so much, Tammy. Okay. So we have Jackie, go ahead and state your name and, your city of residence, please.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Gray and I'm from Kaiser. And I'm Great Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association too. And we, like Tammy was saying, and we're looking for you to attend our meetings and represent us in the community. Engagement is vital to our community. And it's vital to our growth and development. Because we will be able to, we want to, for you guys to provide, help us provide support for our community in our story walk and stuff, so. And things that we do, and National Night Out, that's coming up in August. And we want to just bring things to our family that for in our community, in our neighborhood. And please bring your information to our Gmail, so we can share this to our community. We're always on Facebook and our Gmail, we always check everything. And we go to different, community events in our neighborhoods, not just our neighborhood, every neighborhood in Kaiser. So we want to be able to share things with our community like that, but for you guys too. We can break, and we want to break the communication barrier in our neighborhood. In our neighborhood, I know we have Russian speaking, we have Spanish and different ones, and I know it's out throughout Kaiser.
Do we have any questions for Jackie?
When are these committee meetings?
They're different, I can get you a list and give it on, we have different meetings that we attend, it's like, we go to different, all kinds of community events. We have people come to our events too, so,
Dates and time would be awesome.
and we go to your guys' event at the Rock, so we don't know.
And how long do your meetings last?
Like an hour. But a lot of the speakers don't stay for the whole hour. And we have like neighborhood watch too meetings, but we have that too. And we had the police come and share and was that Hector coming? From fire station.
Great, thank you so much, Jackie. We appreciate all your work you do. Okay, is there any other, comment? Barton, sorry.
I just want to say thank you for all of you coming out. My name is Tim Wood. I am the Assistant City Manager / Finance Director. I've been with the city for about 16 years. I've lived in Kaiser for about 19. So I guess I still feel like I'm a new person as well. I just want to say I apologize for the agenda tonight if we're trying something new. We're trying to outline some of the agenda items to more closely resemble the actual resolution and appendix that outlines what the committee is supposed to be doing. Items 9 through 13, majority of those we're not going to have any discussion on at all. They're just kind of a placeholder. At the point that you folks decide that there is an action plan, or we're going to be actually working on that, at that point, I will add something there that makes it for discussion purposes. But for tonight, it's just placeholders. If you guys don't like the format, we can work on something different. However, we want to figure out some way to organize the meeting so that it really would follow what the city council has requested of this group. So with that, I'm here as my resource for you folks. However, this is your committee, so I'll just scoot back to you.
Okay. Next on our agenda tonight, we are going to be going through the committee presentation assignments for monthly observances. There's typically 2 per month. I believe there might have been 1 month with 3, but essentially this is when we have people from the community come in and share a little bit about, a cause. Maybe they represent, like we had CASA come in and, talk about Child Abuse Prevention Month. We had, for Black History Month, we had a couple different speakers and just like a student from one of our schools. So it's just a really cool opportunity to honor, different groups and have people come in and give us a little presentation. So with that being said, there are a few that are already, counted for in regards to somebody finding who is going to present that month, but we have, a number of months that are open. So if you could look through the list, and maybe pick out 1 or 2, months that you feel like you might have a good connection for. Does that make sense?
No.
That's okay.
So,
Yeah.
if I understand, so we what you're saying is for us to pick, to choose one of these months that can relate to the cause, the awareness for that month.
Yeah,
That we
so-
connect with and just give a little presentation about.
So we're going to be, finding somebody in the community to give a presentation on the observance that we're celebrating that month.
And the other option is it could be you, like if it could be something that if you decided, you know, I really would like to speak to National Hispanic Heritage Month, it could be you saying 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 minutes about you and your story and for you to receive that proclamation and what that looks like for you being a resident.
Silly question. They would just present and speak here at the meeting, okay.
At the city council, and this is these are Monday city council meetings, and the mayor would read the proclamation to you.
Awesome, okay.
What is the definition of your Indigenous People Day for October 6th? Because I find sometimes that there's many different definitions, because you've already assigned Native American.
Let me look that up while you're there.
It's a good question.
That's a great question. Let me ask Spirit.
Great question. It's a good question. No question is a bad question. Does anybody, looking at the list, feel really strongly about anyone in particular? I have, a couple that I, am happy to cover.
And we have to decide this today.
No, I guess not necessarily. If we don't get through it today, if we can, complete it in the next month.
The only thing that we would need to decide today, we would
I
have
would
to
say
decide
timeline
the
issues.
19th
Yeah.
to June 2nd.
Yeah.
We'd have to decide the first.
I agree.
I have a connection, where we can cover the, June 2nd meeting, the LGBTQ Pride Month. I have a couple ideas. I just need to get some contacts out and see if something I can put together. I think within the next, so I do a lot of event planning, coordinating, things like that. So logistically speaking, for example, if I have a response on if a speaker is able to book, like what would the communication be so that we're all aware it's gonna be covered, like email stuff, or do we need to figure that out today? Like,
We don't need to figure that out today. It's generally in the first part of our council meetings,
okay.
so it is 3 to.
Well, I see this as an opportunity, it's a platform, you're giving me a platform, we can come in, highlight, my brain goes to how have we been, exposed, I didn't know that we did this, so my brain goes, how are we telling people that this is something, obviously, we're gonna invite our friends and people we know, their community and things like that. What is the process of marketing that we're doing for these events right now is one of my questions.
Yeah, exactly. And how are we including maybe the youth or the youth clubs?
Sure. Like, to me, I see this as an opportunity, you're giving me a space to come and ready, so that's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, well, I think I can put myself down for that group. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
And I put myself for one of those that have to change, we have time to change.
What do you mean change?
Cause I'm looking at September 2nd. I just need some time to put together, if that works. I don't know by the next meeting.
Yes, we actually have something planned for that month. Be Smart
Okay,
is going to do that one.
so the 2nd,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna put myself down for the National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh, excellent. Well, too, can we bring in some people? Let's,
Yeah, how big is this? Is this one
Yeah,
person
like, I wanna
speaking
bring
on
some
their
people.
experience or?
We actually have a council room because we can get a little out of control, like,
Okay.
we're getting proclamations,
Let's
like, all right, it's gonna be a whole parade. We
Right,
need to get our city work done.
we have
So
to
we
discriminate.
Yeah, like, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's 5 minutes.
Cool.
well, it's
Okay,
also
this
how
is-
you set it up, like, for
Right.
example, are you wanting to do, like, can we do a panel, maybe so if, you have people that you wanna talk about, or like we pick a specific subject, or like give it substance, like, yes, you have a platform, but it's more tiered, individualized, where you don't allow it to get out of hand, where like, yes, you do have the platform, but it's within a topic, or, so if.
So focused a little more.
Yeah, like, so that way we can maximize the time that we have, but while also allowing them to speak on that subject. So having a panel is also a good idea, or especially if we have multiple people that we can bring together.
Well,
I have a
and I think that you could also, because the council is behind you, that you have the ability to think outside the box here. So even if it is a table in our living room with information to where that maybe those people are out there, so when people are coming and going and they can ask them questions, that is a place where information is exchanged and the council can get their business done.
Yeah, so I would say get creative with it for sure. And, there are pretty strict rules in regards to what fees can actually look like. So it's a very strict 5 minutes. We have to let them know like multiple times. And typically, well, not typically, anyone that you ask is speaking specifically on that proclamation. Now, like what they choose to speak in within that topic, obviously they can choose that. But if we're having somebody come and speak for National Suicide Prevention Month, then, right, like we would obviously, like that presentation would tie back into suicide
Sure.
prevention.
Are those guidelines, I guess documented in a way where we can refer back to, like, what are my parameters for me to stick within?
We did, the CDEC, we did come up with, like a little document that you can give to the presenter. We could, I think you will have to look at it, and if you feel like we need to add more context to that,
Sure.
let's do that, because I think that would be helpful to give people very clear direction.
Yeah, give me the bone, so
Yeah.
I know how to, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Dawn, is that something that you can email all the committee members? That's great. And again, I would encourage, again, to use the living room, have a table, and if that's something that, you know, I need to.
What do you mean by that? I
They
feel
like, if we had a 6-foot table out there in the
Oh, yeah.
living room and
Yeah,
had it
yeah,
out
yeah.
there, because you have 5 minutes here, but again, think outside the box.
So, okay, cool, so yeah, we will need to come back to that. Yeah, okay, so. Do we have anyone for Juneteenth? Does anybody feel, strongly connected to that?
I'm way far removed.
I could see if I believe McNary has a youth NAACP group, so I'm happy to, fill that slot if anybody
Or Ronnie Brooks,
or Roger.
he's a great speaker.
All right, so I will take over on Juneteenth.
Jane, what is your last name?
Fictional.
And will this Black History Month be for next year then?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll do that one.
Okay.
Good job, you have a whole year.
Yeah, this will be for next, cause we just celebrated that.
You can put, I think, Mr. Rodriguez, right? I'm sorry, I'm blind, I can't see it from here.
Ramos,
Well, both, I
No,
can put
I think
myself
Ramos.
for, I think if we could collaborate outside, I think we can maximize the time for, I think we can do a good programming for the National Hispanic Heritage Month, if we can connect on that and maybe put something together, would that be okay?
me, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Teamwork. Teamwork.
Dawn, can you look that up, indigenous versus Native American definition? My phone's being really slow. Thank you.
Okay, we just have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 2 on the back page. Is anybody a veteran on the committee? Do I see a veteran on our committee?
You see,
A guy
people
who
got
gave us great
family.
service?
I was 2 days before I was supposed to be going and I broke my hand, so I couldn't go. But I got kids that are veterans. I got, my dad was a veteran during Korea, Vietnam, and all my uncles but I know a lot of people who are veterans, so.
We appreciate your service. Well, what do you think? Do you want to fill that?
It's
Sure.
almost a year.
Okay.
Almost a year.
Okay, so we just have a few left. Okay, human rights today. Robin, thank you. Yes, John.
Would you like me to read the definition?
Yes, please.
So when discussing our original inhabitants of Americans, the terms Native American and Indigenous are often used interchangeably, but they have distinct meanings and historical contents. Native American refers to specifically to the indigenous people of North America, while indigenous is more general term that includes native people from other parts of the world.
Okay. Thank you. I totally missed Women's History Month up here, but you can put me down for that. Well, for next year. I also have a year on that one. So I think it could kind of be an announcement. This also from having a full-time job, we're bringing a women's conference to the Kaiser Convention Center, which is a quarterly event that we'll be hosting. It's a wonderful platform that allows women in many sense, business, wellness, the scope of things. So we're excited to use this space and to highlight, I think it's a beautiful building. It's a very beautiful building and I think it should be used. So we're excited to bring that on. That's something that you'll see in the future, but anywho, you can put me down for that.
Okay.
March 3rd, National Disability Employment Awareness. At Valor, we work with a bunch of different employment specialists for disability. I can take that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
great. Okay, Mr. Ruffin. You.
We have a little time for human rights. We might, I don't know, work together to figure that one out a little later.
For sure. We just have one more, the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
I do see Counselor Cross on there. Is that not?
Do I have?
There's a revised version. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, we have different versions. Oh, okay. So
There is somebody assigned to that.
Okay, Sarah, sorry, Dawn, there's 2 different ones, so it's May 5th, Asian American. Okay, and, Jane and I were looking at a completely different one, this one was Dust Thunder.
okay. Oh, yeah.
Question about dates. Silly, again, just bringing this to attention, but May 5th would be Cinco de Mayo. And there might not be a lot of attendance outside of other groups of people who would be here.
That
for
is a great observation. Yeah, interesting.
That's like London, right?
Yeah, well, maybe it's Monday, so nobody's thinking about party. So, and
To the 12th.
It's only once a month, no?
Sorry.
It's twice a month. So also like pretty strict about just keeping it to one proclamation per city council meeting.
Okay,
So we don't have a lot of flexibility, unfortunately, to move them around.
sure.
So, yeah, we might just unfortunately have a small turnout, but we could also, do something a little bit more special or something that I don't know.
So then that covers.
Okay, yeah, so let's go through them, just so Dawn has them, which, by the way, Dawn, do you wanna introduce yourself, sorry, and just let the people know about all
I know
of
who to
the
go to.
work that you do?
Yes, I've been with the city of Kaiser for about 8 years now. I'm deputy city recorder. And I, build all of your agenda packets and do the minutes and help all of you out to give you the tools that you need so you can conduct business and answer questions. And I'm just a resource for you.
Not just a resource, she does a lot of work,
Very
a
resourceful.
lot of communication, yeah. She's a great asset. Okay, so we're gonna go through them. So February 3rd is Black History Month, Larry Porter, you got that month. March 3rd is National Disability Employment Awareness Month and National Development Disability Awareness Month. Mr. Ramos has that. Okay. March 17th is Women's History Month. Sarah, no, you have that? Okay. April 7th is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we are gonna have Liberty House, come out for that.
Can we also get someone to make sure?
Yeah.
And to communicate with the mayor to see if she's already set it up?
Absolutely. Good idea, Don. Does anybody have a connection with Liberty House?
I have a question. We already, I think everything through May, I think it's already done because I was here on the 21st. Didn't we already do the Liberty House? So I think everything back's already been done. So we're putting names going forward for next year, but everything through here, I think we don't need to do anything right now. Liberty House already came to the city of Kaiser on the 21st, April 21st. Unless I missed it, but they had a proclamation. Because I awarded, the deputies on that.
Okay, sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
So I think when we're talking about here, so February 3rd, so Dawn, this agenda is for the year 2025, correct?
Yes.
So when you're talking planning for Black History Month, it won't be February 3rd, it's February 2025, which may not be February 3rd. So I don't think we should be mentioning those dates past, because we're looking through next month, these already happened.
Okay,
Put the 2026 dates on there when I put your names in.
so these are 2026.
These are all 2025.
Okay.
the names can stay the same, the dates will just change, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
beautiful.
all
Okay,
right,
easy.
okay. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, great. So April 21st for volunteer recognition. Oh, excuse me, we still need somebody to contact Liberty House. Robin, did you mention that you were doing that?
I can do that.
Okay. Thank you. Correct. Yeah. Volunteer recognition month. We have the volunteer coordinating committee chair.
Who is that?
Jane Hurd. Say that again?
Jane Hearn.
Oh, okay. Do we have anybody, do you wanna reach out then? To. I think I'm there. Yeah, okay, thank you. Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Bill needed that, it looks like. Counselor Cross, are you doing something for that? Probably.
I'll reach out to a couple of them.
I mean, I can do it this year, and then if somebody else wants to grab it for next year.
Okay. May 19th, Jewish American Heritage Month. We have Rabbi Perlstein coming. Mayor Clark helps with that. June 2nd, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Pride Month. Sarah No is going to help with that proclamation. Juneteenth is going to be myself. National Suicide Prevention Month. That will also be me. I'm going to bring in Be Smart. National Hispanic Heritage Month. We have Mr. Rodriguez. Excellent. Indigenous Peoples Day. We have Miss Barney over here. Thank you. Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're gonna have the Center for Hope and Safety come in. Oh, great, with Ashley Carson and Paige Clarkson. Mayor Clark is, assist with that. Native American Heritage Month. We have the Tribal Council Confederate Tribes of the Phillips Indians come in with Lord Pigsley, and again, the mayor helped with that. Excellent. National Veterans and Military Families Month. We have Mr. Larry Porter over here. Thank you. And finally, Human Rights Day, Robin Barney. Great. Are there any more discussions about that? No? No. Okay, excellent. This is great. Thank you all for being so willing. It's great to have this planned out.
Just to figure out.
Okay. Can somebody please put a motion on the table to present the updated proclamation observances to the city council?
I motion.
Do I have a second?
I second. I'm wrestling for it.
Okay, I have a first from Mr. Ramos and a second from Ms. Wilson. Any discussion? Yeah, thank you. I have a second. Okay, no discussion, motion passes. Oh, and now we're going to vote. Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion for the revised observances, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
No.
That's okay, yeah, but you're really. Okay, that's okay, the ayes have it. Okay, next we are going to look at the neighborhood association meetings. So we, on the CDEC, try to go to the neighborhood associations. It can be the one that's obviously within your neighborhood, or if you already go to one, that's great. Does anybody go to one currently?
Are those online? Can I find those online somewhere?
Yeah, the one that Tammy has.
I saw the
is on
link, I have it.
And
So-
that's the, is that the greater Gupser?
No,
Or
Greater
the
Northeast.
greater Northeast?
I believe that's the only one that's online.
Yeah. So yeah, otherwise they are in person.
How can I find out which one I belong to?
There is a map on the city website.
Okay, I'll look.
You are, I believe,
I'm on
I'm gonna ask Council Star,
Yes, ma'am.
by like Shoreline, Cumming, area, what neighborhood?
West.
You're West Kaiser.
West Kaiser. Okay.
What's the mission for attending that, what?
Yeah, so it's really just so that we can stay connected to the community, hear the concerns, give feedback, receive feedback. The neighborhood associations, they really do a lot of work in the community and they're all really, dedicated and connected. So, it's just one way that we can, ensure that we're getting the most feedback.
So I'm gonna look mine up and try to get something scheduled or be able to attend. Is that something that I have to vote on? Or I'm just letting you know I will. So are we selecting certain people for certain areas or?
And this is just me saying, this was brought up by the last committee. This isn't something that necessarily needs to happen. So this is where you all are saying what is important to you for this committee. Like, if you can get there, that's great, but these are options, but this is for you all to decide as a committee.
Cool.
And what's important to you for your time and how you want to be effective with your time.
Sure.
Does the Northeast, Kaiser neighborhood meeting meet in person or is that just Zoom? There's no address on here.
They all meet in person here, except the greater northeast.
Do we know where they meet?
They meet they usually have signs out here in the living room that'll have arrows.
They're usually like an hour, sometimes hour and a half, kind of depending, but, you know, it's really good information to have.
That's what I was gonna say. It sounds like we need more filler information to have some substance in the conversation.
Now you got.
We can also, if you want to, you don't have to put your name next to an association tonight. If you want to go home and research which, neighborhood association you would belong to and, just see what that looks like. You feel free to do that and then we can talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay. I think I'm a little bit confused because the Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association says Zoom only.
That is correct. That one is only Zoom.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Sorry, I was talking to myself.
Tammy is, she is one of the presidents for one of the neighborhood associations, so actually, is it okay if anyone has questions, I guess, about the neighborhood association, is it okay that we ask Tammy? Is that okay? Yeah, so Tammy's a really good resource for that, so if you have a question now about what is a neighborhood association, what do the meetings typically look like, you can ask them.
No, I was making sure if they meet in person, I can be there in person. If not, I can do the Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask Tom, have any questions?
Yeah. Tammy, would you mind?
Thanks for here. So, you are part of the Greater North Kaiser Association, so thanks very much.
I'm Greater Northeast Kaiser, so
Yeah.
we serve Kennedy Elementary. If you live in the Kennedy Elementary School area, that is me.
Okay.
Rhonda is Cummings Elementary. Patty is Gupser. Hirsch is Hirsch area?
Rhonda is West Kaiser, not Cummings.
No, Cummings is her school.
Right, but they're talking about the neighborhood associations.
Right. But they serve Cummings Elementary.
Okay, so that's different. Hirsch is Northwest Kaiser.
And then Hirsch is Northwest Kaiser. I think he's Kaiser Elementary.
Okay. So on those,
So we all serve a school in our area,
okay,
in the surrounding community.
so on those meetings, you guys meet once a month, what is the community sharing? I mean, what are their concerns, what are they bringing up to you guys that we should know?
Everybody is different, everybody has different needs, like,
What are you hearing on your association?
For me, I've been hearing a lot about the pavilion that's getting ready, conversation that's going on, the UBG, sidewalks, or a lack thereof sidewalks. So every association deals with different challenges. I can't really talk for everybody.
But that's what you're seeing in your neighborhood association.
Yeah.
Over the consumption, okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, I would be happy to go to the Northwest Kaiser Neighborhood Association.
Okay. First, do we have any other questions for Tammy? Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, so Robin, can go to the Northwest Kaiser neighborhood. I am a part of the Greater Northeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association, so. And that, but if anyone else also is in that neighborhood, obviously, feel free to attend it as well.
And I would encourage anyone up here, if you wanted more information, all of the presidents of the neighborhood association are great. So if you wanted to just reach out and say, hey, do we have grab a cup of coffee? They would be a great source. If any of those times for the neighborhood association, or a phone call.
So how would you know which, because like I didn't even know I had one.
On the city website, there's a map, so it like breaks it down, kind of like some cities break down boards, so it'll show your
Okay,
address, which one you belong to.
If you Google Kaiser Neighborhood Associations, I think it's like the first link that comes up.
okay.
If you click on that, there's only 1, 2, 3, 5 different, neighborhood associations, so you can put in your address and it'll show you,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, excellent. All right, the next order of business. So, okay, so the next order of business is amending the, Community Diversity and Engagement Committee resolution. Tim?
Thank you, Chair and committee. We've included the resolution forming this committee within the packet. This is kind of the guidebook for what the city council expects of us, you folks. So a couple of things I just want to highlight. The biggest thing is you folks are in an advisory capacity to the city council. Because of that, you are now officially public officials. So all of the meeting laws that the city council has to follow are the same rules that you folks have to follow. And I believe Dawn sent kind of an overview of those in the introduction email to you folks. So I encourage you to take a look at those rules. It does kind of limit us on some of the things that we can do because really the public meeting law is really designed to have most of the discussion out in public. And so it really prevents, meeting in small groups, that kind of thing to do your work. So the majority of your deliberation and advising really needs to be done here. With that, this appendix A really outlines the nuts and bolts of what the city council wants you to do. As I indicated earlier, we tried to adjust the agenda to reflect some of the bullet points here so that when we do get to that, some item that we want to do, we can figure out where in the agenda it should fall. So like I said, some of those agenda items, we're not gonna have any discussion on tonight. It really is just an organization tool to make sure the things that you folks are working on are the things that the city council wants you to work on. So again, you're in advisory capacity to the city council. I'd encourage you to read through the resolution. A lot of it involves creating action plans, putting together thoughts, critiquing those action plans. So then we can figure out how to put some of those things into place. And with that, that's really all I wanted to touch on with the resolution. But just refer back to it whenever you have a great idea to see if that great idea falls within the realm the city council wants you to operate within. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Does anybody have any questions about that? Do I have a motion to amend the resolution for the Community Diversity Engagement Committee?
We don't need any.
No, okay, we're not doing that.
This is just
Okay.
information for you folks to take back as someone to take a look at.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, it's a motion. Okay, I'd like to put a motion on the table to table, items 9 through 13 tonight. Do we not have any? Yeah, I would say. Yeah. Okay, sorry, we are, just, making some plans over here. Okay, so, next item is the committee member report. Do you have anything?
I just, as a liaison, just encourage everyone to look through, the agenda, maybe listen to the last couple of meetings when you're in the office and see, just kind of get an idea of kind of the brainstorming and what you can bring to it and what that looks like, and give any feedback to, Jane. That way, when she is working on the agenda for the next meeting, you can say, you know what, I really like the idea of the youth engagement plan. Let's concentrate on this. Like, let's take a bite of the apple, of that apple. Like, let's start here, like that feels good to you. And then, just start taking those small action plans. That would be my recommendations. That way, you know, we're just getting at it.
Okay. Dawn, do you want to go over, like timeline etiquette for you and Tim in regards to, I guess, like recommendations to the agenda or information that we want to share?
Sure. So, about 2 weeks before your meetings, I have the agenda ready and I send it to the chair for the chair to review, see if there are any changes or additions. And then, the chair has about 3 to 4 days to get that information back to me, and I'll make those changes. And then Tim reviews the agenda and he may add some items to it. And then I publish the agenda packet 1 week before your meeting, and I'll also send you a reminder. So, but I guess the key for you is if you have a request to add something to the agenda, please get it to me 2 weeks before your meeting.
And I guess, my feedback to that would be is everything can't be included. So I know there's a lot of smart people in here, so it's 5 or 6. There can't be an agenda with 30 things, so Jane's going to have to make that decision as chair, how we tackle that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that brings me to the next order of business.
I wanted to mention something else.
Yes, ma'am.
I would also recommend when, if you do send something in, try to identify where in the resolution, appendix A, what that would relate to. So that way we can make sure that we're kind of staying on topic. That would be very appreciated.
Thank you for that clarification. So I move to table items 9 through 13. Just because we're all brand new here, and these, action plans were, they're in its, preemie stage, so we have a rough draft created, but these action plans were asked of us from the city council. I believe there's kind of a list of what those action plans need to cover. A lot of it is engagement with the community and then engagement specifically with youth. Yeah, so just keep in mind that the next meeting, we're gonna be going over action plans, so you might wanna look over some of this and, John, did we give, committee members the action plans, the templates that I had submitted last month? Are those included?
I believe those are in tonight's packet.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So you can look over those action plans, make any edits. You can throw the whole thing out, you know, doesn't matter, but the action plans are gonna be important, work for us to do, so.
I moved to table the 9 through 13 action plans.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a first and a second to motion items or to table items 9 through 13. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion, to table items, approved.
Robin, that was you, seconded?
Thank you. Okay, the last, few pieces of business here, the interpreting services, so, at the last BDEC meeting, we talked about how we can get sign language interpreters to more city events such as, the CDEC meetings, and so we are lucky enough to have a couple of fabulous interpreters over in the corner here. Tim, can you remind me, when we have interpreters come, is that paid? Does that come out of our budget, I guess, to have interpreters come?
That is correct, yes, we do pay for interpreting services.
So, I guess with that being said, do we have a discussion? Is that what we need to do for this? Have a discussion or these?
You can have so what you can do is have a discussion, regarding the importance of what all you think, and then you can make a motion to be brought to council that you have a recommendation that there is, sign language interpreter at these committee meetings every month.
Okay.
Available, and maybe, that there, you can think of it a couple, and then the city council will discuss, and maybe city council, and I can't speak for all of them, they could say, okay, we want to make sure that if we have a sign language interpreter, that, we have, they, people can sign up for it, and we don't have someone here that maybe doesn't need it.
Okay. Yeah, so, we felt very strongly about having the sign language interpretation at the CDEC meetings and city council meetings. We've also heard from, and connected with multiple people in the community asking for that service. So, just to stay in alignment with our values, we want to make sure everyone is included. And so having a variety of language, supports, I believe, is really helpful. We have talked about before, you know, the need for Spanish, for example. One way that, folks who are Spanish speaking can access committee meetings is on YouTube, because there's Spanish interpretations with the subtitles. So that's one way we meet that need, but, yeah, so if there's any discussion about, asking the city council to, make sure that there is an interpreter at city council meetings and other, committee meetings.
I have a question. So if I remember correctly, we had a training for the public meetings certification a couple months ago, which I participated because I'm part of the budget committee. If I'm not mistaken, Tim and Dawn may know this, I think every time we have a meeting, so we're talking about having somebody call me here, because I think every time we publish there's a meeting, residents can reach out and say, I need a translator. So versus just having somebody here all the time, they can reach out, and I can't remember if it's like a 24, 72 hours, there's a time that they can request a translator or interpreters. So we're talking about having somebody here for every meeting. Or it is part of both meetings, agenda. I'm using the wrong term, but people can reach out.
I think she
That she think it's part of ADA law, right?
Yeah, if someone makes a request, then we will, line up an interpreter for them. But right now, it's based upon request, except for at city council meetings where we have the Spanish speaking interpreters.
So what I hear from that is that's a piece of information that you can get out to people that probably didn't know that.
Okay.
Maybe in the future when you're giving information like, did you know?
So my understanding, right, that, someone could go online and if they are planning on going to a meeting, request the.
Yes, that's correct. So anybody trying to attend or wanting to attend these meetings, once the agenda is published, they're welcome to reach out to the city and request an interpreter or translator to participate in the meeting.
Thank you very much for that information. Do you have a question?
I do. I thought that we already do that. Or is it because when I get your notices for the paper, I always see at the bottom, if you require special accommodations to reach you, and I do believe it's like 24 hours or 48 hours before.
Yes, that's correct. So for the city council meetings, we automatically always have the Spanish speaking interpreters there. But anything in additional to that for the council meeting, if someone asked us for ASL interpreter for city council meeting, then we would line that up for them. And that goes for any of the other meetings. And I might also just mention that the price sheets that are in here for both of the companies that we use, ASL interpreters for both companies, they require to send 2 people for each meeting, so the cost is double.
I do have a question. So we do have interpreters here today. So I'm assuming that it was by request.
Yes.
So may I ask the person who was here, how was that process for you? Was it simple? Was it something that you found accessible to you? I just want to make sure that it works.
Want me to go up?
You don't have to. No, I wanted from your point of view, is it something that works for you?
Maybe perhaps we could bring a microphone for her for records. No, which microphone do we have on the page?
I think it's probably okay. I don't have to document everything.
I was just making sure that we're giving everybody equal opportunity to be recorded and.
Would you like to speak at the microphone?
I'm fine, I'll let you go over it.
Okay, terrific, thank you.
I'm just slow.
Take your time, you're okay.
Technology, using microphone, but I'll try.
That works. We got
Hear
you.
me?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm Janet Johansson, and I have been a citizen of Kaiser since 1959, off and on, but I'm actually neighbors with Sarita, so we have kind of a hot cul-de-sac back here. Yes, the process of getting interpreted with sign language is able to contact her and say, I'm going to be there, and, you know, she set things in motion. I do want to emphasize that, well, I want to ask a question first. When we talk about neighborhood associations, are those also something that's supposed to be accessible? Because I don't think deaf people are going to those. So what's the process of getting interpreters for the neighborhood association meeting? That's something that you can address later
That's a
too.
great question. You have my cell phone number and I will follow up with you on that.
Yes, a question that has come your way before.
Because one of the reasons that you don't have deaf people involved is because they don't have the opportunity to start the small groups. And then go into the bigger group like this. You know, my daughter is also deaf and she's like, I'm not gonna say anything because it's scary for deaf people.
Sure.
I address a lot of hearing people who are in all different walks of life. So yes, the process for getting interpreters worked out fine that way. I just want to be sure that we're thinking about all the other elements of city government and city participation that are they accessible to?
Absolutely.
So that's my point.
That's great perspective. I appreciate that.
Tim, can you get with, Joe Lindsay and find out the information on that and get that to me?
I can, one thing to keep in mind, neighborhood associations are not city sponsored groups.
I understand that's a bit different law, but I would like to be able to answer it with, some education and facts.
Sure, the neighborhood association, they would have to use their $1,200 for, do fundraising to provide for interpreting services.
Yeah, if I could just get his verbiage, that'd be great, and then maybe if it's something that we address during budget. You gotta love this, right, then we have to address it during budget.
Have a separate note.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Good
And one
information.
more comment.
Yes.
When you're doing outreach, when you're talking about, different types of communities, you're not doing outreach specifically to deaf people. So that is an area that I would really highly recommend, some sort of a town hall with a deaf community here in Kaiser, because there's a lot of us kind of hide, but there's a lot of us. So the specific outreach to the deaf community would be very beneficial to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking that question. That was, a great conversation and a good example because the CDEC is an advisory board. And so this is a great example of what we can advise the city council to consider, so. Okay, any other discussion about that?
Good information.
Okay. The last order of business is to, discuss the reconsideration of the appointment process for the CDEC. So each of us, we were, nominated by a city council person. The CDEC, correct me if I'm wrong, is the only city committee that is elected that way. All other city committees are elected by the BCC. Don?
Except for the BCC.
Except for the BCC. So the BCC and the CDEC are both elected by, council positions. We have had a lot of discussion about that and just the equity behind that, as well as the consistency. There were issues of council members not finding somebody for like months at a time, where the BCC, they could easily elect somebody there's like a small questionnaire, right, that someone who is applying for the CDEC could, fill out. So I believe that the city council should reconsider the appointment process, again, just to make it more equitable, more streamlined to mirror all of the other committee, positions. And again, just making sure that it's consistent.
I have a question. I know this is coming up a lot, I think anybody who is watching the news around here can kind of know. My understanding is that even though the city councils can nominate people, people can still write a letter of interest to have a position here to the city. So my understanding is even though us members of the CDC are not part of the volunteer coordinating committee, people can still write a letter of interest. Now, I understand the nomination versus the letter. I'm not sure how that works. If somebody writes a letter that are nominated, I guess, and I don't know if I have an answer to this, so and I don't know if Tim or Dawn can answer, were there any letters of interest outside of the city councilor's nominations? Were there anybody else that wrote a letter interested in part of this committee?
I didn't receive any, but generally the letters of interest go straight to the city councilors.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know if I have I strong opinion, I know we should go, I understand that there's big concerns that these committees selected, quote, differently than other committees. But I think this would be, if we're considering change, I think it'd be interesting to also ask the city councilors if they received any letters. Because if there's no letters and they don't nominate anybody, how?
Well, they would have chosen, I mean, someone could have written them a letter asking to be put on the CDEC, but the council members, they don't have to divulge who did that, they just get to choose. I mean, I think also an example is last month, all of us were changed without much communication about that. So that also could happen with this committee, not saying that it will, but it's happened just last month, it could happen again. And so I think also to protect the work that we do and are going to do, and the positions that I think, you know, we all have worked for, I believe that in order to, again, keep it equitable, I feel very strongly that the BCC should be the ones to making those appointments.
Yeah, I understand. I guess my question is more like how much interest there was. For instance, let's say they don't receive enough letters to fill this position, so that what would be the next steps? I guess that's how I'm thinking. If for some reason there isn't enough people.
Soraya, do you want to speak to how the city and council members choose?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I think that, this is a 2-year term now. I think that I would like to, I think this is something that everyone can chew on and maybe watch other council meetings, you know, and see how each counselor, because I'm sure that you all haven't. I would encourage you to maybe even look at the agenda and watch the last 2 council meetings and maybe even bring that back.
Well, how do you, I mean, because she was asking about, you know, are people writing in letters?
No one has written a letter to me. I spoke when I assigned, Elaine, that I was responsible for probably 3 or 4 of our CDEP committee members, including, Thais, Stephanie Cross.
And did you reach out to those people or did they reach out to you to be on the CDEC?
I reached out to them because I knew of their backgrounds in, diversity in HR, including like, okay, this one is diversity in HR blogger, this one knows a lot about diversity in HR at, DMV, where you're gonna have lots of different personalities and know where they're coming from, so they're gonna be able to know, like, it's about where they're coming from and where to meet them. And that I knew that they would be strong with response, and that they had big commitments to the community. So, I didn't have a problem with them. And
I think that this committee is a lot different than the other assigned committees. They have a specific goal. Volunteer committee looks for volunteers, we do the application, budget committee looks at numbers and budgets. This committee looks at multitudes of things. We're gonna be looking at a lot of different things with a lot of different information coming from a lot of different places. And I truly believe that the council members are probably the best people to select the candidates and the appointees for this committee, only because they're out there in the public. They also know which people are interested in serving and want to serve and pretty much know their skill set. And they know that those people can meet their expectations and anything that comes to this committee, they would be able to handle. Versus going through the volunteer committee and getting an application. So I'm definitely in favor of the counselor, sorry, so I did a little more work, selecting the people.
Okay. Any other discussion? Tim?
Just a couple things to add. We didn't get a lot of letters this time because we really didn't solicit for letters in the city. So this round of you folks really is not a good representation of what that might have looked like. But having said that, the city council did just vote recently to keep their current process. So I think until it might be worth giving it 6 months, a year or something to reevaluate it and bring that topic back up. Just to give you folks a chance, I think would be what I would say. Let's get a few things marked off of your to-do list and then maybe circle back to this at that point if it makes sense.
With the wisdom. Okay. All right, so yeah, we'll just keep that in mind and circle back to that, down the road. Okay, with that being said.
Good job.
Good job. How do I finish it out?
I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Can't just say that it is.
Okay. It is 7:32. This meeting is adjourned.
90 minutes?
Good. The last one we had, I was very on top of it. We went through lots of things and we did it in less time than 2 minutes. So it was, I think it was only spaces, getting used to it.
I think